Hi, my name is Luka and I'm the co-founder of Joan. And I'd like to welcome you to our weekly or regular podcast called Future of Work, where we talk to leaders in the best companies, talk about best practices, and think about what the future of our work will be. This podcast this week is dedicated to AI, and I'd like to start it with a prompt from Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT or OpenAI, who posed an open question, and that's: when will we see the first single-person unicorn? The single-person unicorn being a company worth over $1 billion. I guess everybody here can imagine that AI will drastically change how we work. It will have big, or it already has big impact on culture, on morale, on productivity, and even on our purpose, in daily life and daily work. So just like 4-day work week, this probably makes us think, how will we work in the future? To kind of shed some light on this interesting question, I'm joined with Matic Užmah, Director of RevOps at Colossyan, who has a very, very long history in startups, worked at multiple AI startups, and is the perfect co-host for this podcast to have this discussion with. So Matic, I'm glad to have you here. Can you tell us a bit more about this long and storied history of yours?
Thanks for inviting me. I started working in startups like 15 years ago. I joined one YC company at that time. I was head of growth at Codable. The Codable was, I think, half Slovenian, half Danish startup. And then I think it was 2015, I started my own company in France with a French co-founder. It was a support tool that helps you identify what your users are looking for on the website, and show them the right the article from the knowledge base, which is very basic thing today. We sold the company after a couple of years. We were bootstrapped. Later on, I joined Synthesia, which is an AI-generated tool for video creation. Currently I'm working at Colossyan. We help large organizations, Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies, record the videos without the video crew and equipment. I run the RevOps department there, so gluing and connecting sales, success, marketing, finance, sometimes legal as well.
So I guess the same departments that are on the forefront of using AI tools themselves, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So before we get go down this rabbit hole of how our work will change, right? Let's start at the beginning of what is AI? I mean, there's so much bullshit, on this topic. You basically build something and then you put AI to the name, and suddenly it's so much better, right? So when we talk about AI, how do you view what AI is, and how would it determine or define this term in terms of this conversation today?
In terms of the conversation today, I would define it that it's learned on a large set of data and structures to understand what the data means if you give them the right instructions, right? And then learn on top of it itself.
So in terms of, in terms of your history, right? You started off with Support Hero, right? And then you went to kind of proper AI companies, let's call it like that, let's say it like that. But how did like the stuff that you did at Support Hero differ to what you did later on in terms of like, you know, AI stuff?
And besides it, now we have more experience, right?
Yeah.
Getting older. But essentially, there are still a lot of, a lot of tools on the market that can help you with marketing, for example, lead generation, lead scoring. In sales, it can help you with optimization, identifying which of the opportunities will go through the pipeline faster. If I want to like go to one of the cases, imagine that you're a sales rep or an SDR looking for new prospects on LinkedIn. You have to go back to the CRM. You have to put all the data into the CRM. Now with the AI can with a lot of prompts, you can create opportunity inside the CRM without going to the CRM, which is a big plus for the sales team.
So, would you say like the tooling that you use daily, did that change your work a lot? How did it change?
It changed productivity. You can, without knowing a lot about the code, you still can, work as a marketer, right? Change a little bit of the codes on the side with the AI. I use ChatGPT daily for data purposes, for data cleaning, for text, to write a better texts. Notion, for example, is a good tool for when you have board meetings, when you have meetings with your team. You have the idea what has to be on the presentation or in the document with Notion. You type them and you get like a perfect presentation or script for the whole meeting. So it's more nice to have than must have, right?
So in terms of these let's say changes, like you talked about ChatGPT, which is obvious. I mean, yes, everybody at least tried it once, right? You talked about Notion. There's some other tools that that if they went missing tomorrow, you would be pretty upset.
That's a good question. I don't know. ChatGPT definitely.
Yeah.
Not really.
But in terms of you spending much more time to do stuff, that would be a drastic difference, right?
Yeah, but again, that's ChatGPT.
Yeah. So we were talking about all these interesting tools that you were using and how this impact your life, your work life. When you you're faced with a problem today, right? How do you consider an AI tool? What's your thought process? How do you get started with something new?
If I have a problem in my daily work.
Yeah.
I'm using ChatGPT sometimes, but usually with ChatGPT I don't ask questions. I already have a solution, so I use it as an assistant to do stuff for me.
Okay.
So I don't ask questions like to help me with what is the best planning tool, or give me the OKRs for the next year, because I think it's too specific. I give him the informations, and then usually the ChatGPT sort the data out or give me more like meaningful document. So I usually don't ask the questions for serious topics, but obviously when you play around, you ask the questions like, what is the meaning of life? What is the future of work? What will work look like in 50 years? But again, this is like an evening job. It's not that I use it in my business life.
Okay. The stuff that you do at Colossyan is a bit different to what ChatGPT does, right? You generate videos, you replace whole video crews. I guess the guys that are recording the podcast not so happy right now. But that's your purpose, right? Or what are you trying to do? It's not probably replace people that record these things totally, but help people generate these videos.
First of all, we help big, large organizations to do this at scale. So for the small studios, I don't think we are competitors yet, right? Because it's quite expensive, the software. So okay. I wouldn't say that all studios will just vanish in a couple of years. But essentially, what we do, you can record your own avatar. You can use avatar from our templates, and you can basically prompt whatever presentation you want. You can use our API, so you can source the data from Excel or from other tables. You have also interactive videos. You can have also a couple of avatars talking between each other, and like the biggest use case for all of the companies in this space is still learning and development. I would say that 70, 75, 80% of the customers are using it for internal education inside the companies. And it's not that much of a marketing, still not that much of a sales. But I think if you see the trends, it's growing. One reason is that the avatars really needs to be very, very good quality for marketing to take it. And I think that the market is not ready yet. But as we saw with the ChatGPT, the marketing changing very, very fast, and you can also see the trends that.
So, for instance, like how do you view the ChatGPT Sora stuff, where you can kind of the premise is that you can generate your own videos from a prompt. How's that different to what you guys are building, and how do you view yourself in a position towards them? Right?
It's tough. It's tough to compete with OpenAI. Every time they release something, we are always like watching what was going to happen.
Okay.
But I think there will be enough space for more than one player. I hope so. So serving our clients best. It's not only the technology, it's also the company behind, because obviously you have to serve your clients, help your clients to get the best out of the videos. But yeah, these giant companies like also Adobe is going to the same direction. And we have to be very careful how to tread here.
I mean, I know that you guys have really, really good process to helping your clients get what they want in terms of the video content. You have a stellar customer success team that helps them get some results. So I'd just like to kind of talk to you about this process of onboarding like a modern AI tool. You work with companies, smaller and large, mostly large. How do they go about in implementing? Let's say a large client of yours, I don't know. Can you talk me through that?
After they purchase the product?
Yeah, let's say.
Okay. It's very important that you onboard the champion, the one who bought the product first, right? So the first phase of is the onboarding, definitely. So getting all of the users that are using the product to create continuously creating videos on a weekly basis. Depends on the use case, but that's usually a couple of videos in the first couple of weeks. The next phase is activation, actually. So we monitor them for a couple of months, that all of the users, all of the seat holders are using the platform. They're happy with it. They don't get any bugs. They don't get a lot of support requests, etc. The last stage is obviously the renewal expansion stage. So when we try to identify if there is anything that we can upsell. And usually it's they're purchasing more seats because they're sharing the videos. They want to use it in different departments, from HR to marketing to learning and development, etc. So I would put it in 3 stages from onboarding, activation, and expansion. And the job of customer success is, to listen to them and to identify if there are any bottlenecks or if they need help, or because prompting the video as prompting the ChatGPT is on the surface very, very simple. You can put a blog post article into the script, but as you know, the script is not the same as a text, so you have to tweak a little bit. They have different voices, you have different avatars, different moods, different gestures, so the avatar can be happy, excited, sad, it depends. So this is a part of the avatar development, which is going very, very rapidly. But back to customer success, it's all about making customer happy and successful and reaching the goals that you together put in the beginning.
So I mean, you talk about goals, right? In terms of like results for the companies, like, I mean, you guys have built like a great AI tool that helps you with the whole video production, right? What are the typical results that you then see? Like when a company, like when a customer of yours implements this, what's in it for them?
First of all, they don't spend much time with the recording, right?
Yeah.
And editing, so they save time and money. To give you one example, if once you create one video, you can modify this video and use it a couple of times, right? So you just save a video. It's like we record the podcast now. If we want to do the same podcast with the same two people, you just need to tweak the text. Everything else will be done by the software, which is amazing. Imagine that we say we have a podcast together every week, and every time on a different topic, but we don't need to sit here and record it.
But I'd be a bit sad. I like sitting down here with you, but I get the idea. Yeah. So would you say that like this is typical with the modern host of, let's say, AI tooling, that people use them for the cash, or let's say the benefits of reduced costs, let's say it like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean,
and sorry to interrupt, but there is also one angle. A lot of people come back and say, I'm very happy that I don't need to be on the camera anymore. So it's my avatar. The avatar is always perfect, because when you shoot the avatar, you get, all the makeup and all the stuff. So, you do it once, the avatar is there, you can tweak the avatar a little bit, and then, if you put more weight, the avatar will still be the same. So it's
super nice.
This is the feedback that we also get from the customers. Yeah.
I mean, the industry is still in its infancy. Some tools like yours, I mean, they've come a long way, right? ChatGPT came a long way as well. How do you view kind of this state evolving? Are we at the beginning, mid? Can we talk about how do you take this current state of the whole AI tooling around you? Where are we?
I think we're at the beginning, let's say. I mean, the end goal would be that you don't recognize that the avatar is really the avatar, right? Or that you can really record the podcast without people noticing that we are not sitting here. We are not there yet, but we are very close. If you remember back in the days, we had this Black Mirror episodes. This was like, when I was watching Black Mirror 5 years ago, I was like, this is maybe 20 years from now, but it's here, right? You can, if you have a voice of somebody that is not with you, you can create, you can have a conversation with the person. We are in the early stages, but it's getting there. It's quite convincing sometimes.
Yeah, it's actually regardless where we are in terms of the process, we're moving really fast, right?
Yeah.
That's the scary part, right?
Yeah, and I think that the one question that people are asking, like, will the AI take over the world? I think And the answer is always the same. No, the AI will not take over your job or the world, but it will. Person who is using AI will, because it can do it much faster. You know, all the administrative work, all the data analysis, everything can do like much faster with these tools. So I think it's quite essential for the next generations, or even for us, we're getting older, to understand and to keep up with the speed of the technology. At least to understand it, how you can use it in a business or daily life.
Okay, in terms of you know, we're having this debate of where we are from a development standpoint. So are we at the beginning? Are we? And I totally agree with you, right? I mean, we are we feel like we're starting, but we're moving so fast that it's interesting. What does that mean for us and for working in the future, right? I just want to to highlight this topic of Klarna. I don't know if you heard, but at Klarna they had a huge project with ChatGPT, and they worked with them they worked with OpenAI to build them a custom support bot, probably something that you can relate through your experience at Support Hero. And the results were staggering. I mean, it's insane what happened there. So, first of all, like, they obviously amount of tickets greatly increased, satisfaction generally increased, turnaround time increased, and costs went down. Like, they calculated that they did so much work in the 3 months or 6 months that when the bot was active, that they saved over 40 million euros. I mean, if this is kind of the starting point, right? And here we're talking probably, you know, basically, let's say, increasing the output of people that are currently working 5-fold, 10-fold, right? Or reducing costs, like, for a considerable amount. What do you take from that, right? From that example, what does that mean for us?
I mean, going to, you know, to support departments first, it's kind of a logical step, right? For Klarna, it's not only reducing costs, it's response time. It's probably 5 seconds, right? You don't need to wait 30 minutes to get reply back, which is amazing. You know, if you try to get the support at you know, big like tools like CRM tools, HubSpot, sometimes you wait up to 24 hours for a single question. So that's one thing. So then the NPS score will go up. You know, reviews on G2 will go up. You know, customers will be happy, will stay with you more. You get better analytics. If I can touch the topic of what will happen with the workforce, I think Klarna said that they will not fire anyone.
Yeah,
but that will change in the future with the good PR. You know, the statement might change. And you know, going to this topic of what will happen with us, you know, will AI replace you? I think a lot of people will lose jobs, and a lot of new jobs will appear, and which is, you know, quite natural. And when we went through the revolution when Ford invented the how is it called, the
assembly line.
Sorry. You know, a lot of people that were, you know, doing anything related to horses went out of jobs. But you know, you need new workforce. So I'm not really afraid that that everybody will lose jobs, but we will have to adapt, and we'll have to adapt very, very quickly. The other side is also that, do you really want to do the repeatable job all day long, 40 years? So, I mean, being creative is one of the, you know, creativity is one of the fields that is rising now. I think that's gives you more purpose than you're doing the repetitive tasks. So I want to be an optimist here. Even though we will see a lot of people losing jobs, there is still a lot of opportunities, especially for young generations, right? I don't know if I answered the question about how I see the whole thing with.
Yeah, I think it's a very loaded topic, or a very complex topic, because especially when we talk about support teams in general, it's usually a job, even at any company, that has a lot of value for your customers, but it's really hard. It's really repetitive, and I mean, even at Joan, and we have really good support. We're rated #1 by G2 on this, but people that work in support, they're always looking to move to something else because it's so repetitive. So, what do you think? Will we basically leverage AI to remove the bullshit jobs first, like the stuff that's super? When we say bullshit job, it's like stuff that's really repetitive, that really has no kind of let's say creative value. That's really, when you're already working almost like a robot.
It's a tough question. It depends on the market, right? If you can replace the miners that are working in Africa, for example, that would be great. But I don't think that will happen first. So I think the market will tell us which jobs. I think it will go from blue collar workers to white collar workers. The first tasks that will be replaced are anything in the accounting, finance. I think everything that is a repeatable task in any sector or industry. I don't know. Imagine the healthcare as well. If you can get better treatment based on all the data that they have. So
I mean, it's not probably so much about replacing, right? It's about augmenting, right? It's about changing. Even if I look at our support, right? I mean, Klarna has a lot of resources. They can work with OpenAI. They can build them a really good tool. We tried doing the same at Joan. We tried building our own, let's say, chatbot. We fed it with our information, yada. So we kind of tried building that, and we see that it has a lot of value for, let's say, a certain level of conversations, and it's kind of giving a superpower, to support the personnel. Instead of like spending time on really simple stuff, the tool can help them reduce the workload and lets them focus on the really complex stuff.
But you still keep support.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for us, it's like of incredible importance, right? That we have proper support, and I believe, it's the same with Klarna, and that's why I kind of hate these sound bites that we get from Klarna, these PR statements, because you really don't know behind the scenes what exactly happened and how successful they were, and how bad was it before and how good it is today, and stuff like that. It's PR is PR, right? But that doesn't change. I fully agree with you. Jobs will be redefined, especially repetitive stuff for sure will be removed, and I think it's gonna be for the better if you're able to adapt, right? Do you see, like, if you look at your team, right, at Colossyan, or if you look at your work at Colossyan, what's kind of the things that you expect to happen in next year or next 2 years in terms of your work? Where do you see AI helping you?
as a RevOps leader, basically to have better like lead qualification, lead scoring, to get that sales optimization pipeline. A lot of companies I've seen, they have a lot of like a long sales cycle due to procurement process, and I think most of the AI companies have these problems because it's a like, new field, and if you're working with the enterprise companies, you know this terms and conditions are not yet defined. So what I've seen, what I would like to see here is AI tools help me to lower the sales cycle, get better leads in better qualifications, better security, all these spam attacks on the top of the funnel, stuff like that. On the customer success side, definitely predictive, the churn prediction, that would be great. It's all about retention, expansion in SaaS. So if you can get these predictions more accurately, that would definitely help.
What's the tooling that you use today to do this? How do you do this today?
We do it inside the CRM.
Oh, okay.
Then we use some of the add-ons, but the core is the CRM.
So, okay, this is kind of next year, next 2 years, you really see this path to there. But like, if you're a bit of a visionary, how do you see that evolving in the next step?
If I may go a little bit outside my job, okay. I think the next unicorn or single person unicorn or whatever will appear based on AI, but out of the problems that we will see with the AI. If I can give you one example, like let's say that your image or your video can be misused, right? So I think the next thing, or the next unicorn, or at least a couple of millions of dollars of company, it will be someone who can label, this is really you, Luka, and so to identify and say, this is you and this is a deep fake. So imagine you're a celebrity or Taylor Swift, and somebody puts your body or your face on somebody else's and misuse it. So can a tool confirms that this is really a deep fake, or is it a real person? The next thing, I think, it will be is it on this topic? Is that really possible? Do you view that the technology can catch up with the advancement on the gen side? I think so. I hope so. I think so. And if it's possible, I don't know how to do it, right? But that's the next unicorn. The next unicorn, it's a very similar space, but again, you're a celebrity, you have a contract with a big company, and you have to fly to their studio to record an interview or a commercial. Imagine that you can just sell the rights, and they can use your face, full body to do the commercial locally or globally or whatever. So basically, you just put your rights to a company that then sell your face, right? Let's say that you're LeBron James and you have to shoot a commercial with Nike The third thing, I think it will happen a little bit more in the future, which is I don't know how to call it, but it's like never-ending to-do list. And you will just put the goal. The goal is, I want to run a marathon. I want to run a marathon under 3 hours in the next 2 years. Do whatever it takes. Now, that's very, very, very dangerous, because if you put something else as a goal, and the AI will do anything that will reach the goal. So he can book a fitness, he can call the trainer, he can order food, he can make what you eat for breakfast. Everything will be never-ending to-do list. For losing weight or for running the marathon, it's a nice thing, right? But because AI doesn't, ChatGPT, it has filters. But you can jailbreak the filters. You can come around, and I think it's very dangerous that if you set a goal something else, you you can hurt some people because avatar will say, okay, this is avatar. Sorry, the AI will say, this is my task, and I will do whatever it takes. And if you can nail this on a safe way, never-ending to-do list, I think that's also a next unicorn.
So I want to get back to this, the safety aspect, because you spoke about it in the first concept. You've spoken about it right now, and it's a very broad topic that we can dive in deep a bit more. But I wanted, like, as you were explaining about, the LeBron case of using your likeness without you actually being there, like creating a commercial without actually acting in it. What if you kind of generate the person totally, there's no LeBron, right? What if you start the identity as a virtual and you develop the identity forward and you kind of, you push it into the media. You already had this, virtual influencer and whatnot. But then it's a good question, who owns the rights to this? Who has the permission to post under that, right? What's your take on that?
It's a tricky question. Do you want to go to the topic if the avatar will own the rights at some point, or
I don't know. I want
of the avatar?
I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Currently, the owner of the avatar will own the rights, but in the future, I don't know. I cannot imagine that the avatar will own the rights of.
But what if the avatar is totally artificial, right?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, yeah.
So you as a creator, you own the rights.
Okay. But what if it was just generated from a prompt?
Yeah, but still, who wrote the prompt?
Okay. So
because these influencers, I think people really know what they are doing. Mm-hmm. They create the avatar, they create the fake influencer, and they're probably earning a lot of money out of it.
Sure.
I'm not familiar with a lot of use cases. I'm not in this space. But I think this is something that I said before. There will be new jobs emerging. Again, it will be a crowded market. We will only see the winners, not people that were trying and didn't really succeed. But yeah, going back, I think the owner will still be a human, right?
Now we can go toward the safety aspect, right? I mean, we talk about this future work. We talk about a lot about what this will mean for us, for you, in terms of what will we do. And we said, okay, our jobs will evolve. We will adapt, like we did with the Industrial Revolution, like we did with mass production, like we did with the IT age, all of that, right? We adapt over time. But then we get to this point of kind of misuse, right? And even in your example, you said there's some potential there, right? But even with with avatars, what do you do today to combat like this misuse?
Currently, what their companies are doing that are producing avatars, you have a couple of layers of security, right? Mm-hmm. So first is the AI that checks the text. If you try to misuse it it depends on the company policy, but it usually goes like no politics, anything about sexual, drugs, or alcohol. So everything is excluded. But again, you can pass this with claiming that you're working on a documentary or it's for educational purposes. So I think there are several layers here. So one is the computer. Then you have these moderation teams. TikTok is very famous with their moderation teams. At the end, unfortunately, you will have also lawyers, that will judge if you're a big company. But I don't see that the big companies are misusing it. So it's more like individuals for now. So in terms of avatars, I think the safety all of the companies are aware that we have to be advocates for safety here. But on the higher level, you never know what's really happening. So at the end, like I said before, maybe you will be talking to the avatar and you will not even know that it's avatar. So what then?
I mean, is it even a problem if you're talking to an avatar and you don't know it's an avatar?
It depends on the use case. If you're on a date and you think that this person is an avatar, you think it's a real person, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not fair, right?
Yeah, I fully agree on that. Yeah.
But we will have to adapt. I mean, with AI in the future, you have different scenarios, from positive to negative scenarios, and in these buckets you also have different versions, right? What will happen if the AI take over the world? We will know it. Do we know that it's happening? If it's and it's good for us, right? So we can live. It's not gonna end good for us. We said before, it's a never-ending to-do list, and the goal is to get to the end. So let's not go into the details on the bad side, because I want to be the optimist.
So if we talk about that, the optimism, right? And I really like that perspective, because the AI is here. It's not gonna go away. Like when we started this discussion, we started like how it's changing your work, and we said like you'd be super sad without ChatGPT, and you're not the only one, right? So there's a lot of value that it brings you, a lot of time that it saves you. So let's talk about what's kind of the end game for us. Like, what's the positive scenario where you see this evolving, right? You can look at it from your own perspective. I mean, from the avatar perspective, I kind of get it. But kind of, globally from an AI perspective, what will happen?
From the avatar perspective, I think the end goal is that you can make like a movie from home, right?
Yeah.
Without any actors. Global AI, it's a tough question. I don't think anybody knows. You have two sides. Like it's a huge danger for humanity, or it's it will take all the work from us, and we can think and enjoy and eat. But so I think there are like two different ways that we can go.
Yeah, but I specifically I want to kind of to make you kind of think, like, envision your work in 10 years. Like, how does your life change? Like, and in a positive scenario. Because when I think about how I work less,
That's for sure. But
I work less. I can work on stuff that's more impactful. And for me, the number one thing that AI does in my, let's say, dreams is it takes away all the stupid chores that I need to do, all the work-related things that really have no value. I'll book those tickets, order that, organize that, don't forget about that, do that. And it's like all the stuff that's preventing me to really work focused, right? That's my scenario.
But that's quite near, I think. That's quite near to have that. To have to like remove 50% of your work.
Yeah,
quite near.
Yeah,
I mean, with the ChatGPT, if you know how to prompt correctly and you train ChatGPT, you can get close with especially with all the plugins that they have in the store. So what will you do if you have 80% more time in work?
Oh, for me, it's easy. I did this from two different perspectives. First off, I can do more crazy things in terms of work, like try out new ideas. I have an idea, I can try it out, test it, see if it works. Kind of trial and error. The second thing is I can spend more time on stuff like this, like creating content, talking to people, perhaps things that bring me more joy. And I also believe that our work-life balance will change, right? We will be able to, because we're more rewarded in work, we are able to work more focused. We can spend more time working with people on the the things that matter. We're more rewarded in work. That also improves our daily lives, you know. And in the end, it's a very much a net positive for all of us.
Creative stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. The creative stuff. If we are lucky enough that we are going this path, then you have more time to do creative stuff. But I never answered this question to myself: is what will people do if they have more time? All people are not creative. Whether people start making stupid, dangerous things. Yeah. So that's I think it's we need an agency that will keep us safe. And the question is, who is this agency? Because I'm afraid that it's not the government, because it may be so that's
I mean, we've been discussing this, you know, AI security and AI safety, and we've had this topic back and forth, and you know, it's a complex topic, lots of complex questions that we can't even imagine to answer in next 10 minutes. So my question is more of like, if you kind of draw the line and you say, okay, what do I view as a kind of an end game for my work, for my life, not as a creator of AI, but how AI will impact your life. What's your take? What's going to happen from this point onwards?
Let's go on a positive note, right? I think in my day-to-day tasks, everything that is repeatable will be taken up by the AI. I hope that the AI can even predict the sickness, the illness that you have, or predict it based on your DNA. Or I'm not really an expert on that, but health is very important. Health and mental health as well. So help people with imagine that you can have your personal therapist. AI has all the knowledge and the use cases. So I think that's one of the personal stuff. Ordering pizza. I think there is Pizza Hut and a drone companies were already doing it in Australia. So all this labor heavy stuff. In the industries, as I said before, I think the warehouses will be totally on autopilot, very efficient, right? Manufacturing, for example, imagine you have a huge spending on the machines that you're using. What if you can predict when it will go wrong, ahead of time, so you can save again a lot of money. So I think, again, on a positive note, I think it will help in all industries will be disrupted. Even those that are we think, okay, we still have to build a house, but you already have a machine that can build a house in 2 days. So based on your personal preferences, so I think all the industries will be affected. But it's hard to predict what will happen in 10 years.
So especially with the rate of innovation, with the rate of change. And I think that the best suggestion probably for today is kind of be open-minded and track what the tools out there are, because it's a huge difference if you're using them or if you're not using them. And in terms of your kind of personal experience or you being productive, it's really important that you're on top of this, and because it's gonna really improve. It has the potential to really improve your life.
Exactly. It's not that you have to learn how to code or be super expert, but be always in trends with what's happening in the AI, so you understand how can you apply it in your daily life, in business and in your daily life. So I think it's very important to get this education. The question is what will happen with people when they get older. So we are, I think, the generation that will still keep up with the speed. But what about our parents? They don't really get what's happening with the AI. And I think that's a field that, again, an agency or somebody has to take over.
Yeah, so I think it's it's nothing new. To be very honest, it's like with every technology. I remember that when we got the cell phones, and using an iPhone today, it's like second nature to us, right? Ask my parents, let alone my grandparents, how good. I mean, to do something, to do something advanced on the phone. It's gonna be the same with AI. So.
But boomers took over the Facebook now, so I mean,
yeah, sure.
Got the technology quite fast.
Sure. I believe that similar things will happen to AI as well. It's the ergonomics will change, the user experience will change, the interfaces will adapt, and if there's value, for somebody, I do believe that the product will exist. And
one thing that I think we should mention is that the size and the magnitude of the content that will be created with the AI, text or video or image, and mostly it will be bunch of useless content, and with useless content comes also the fake news. So
yeah.
I think that's one thing that we'll have to be very, very careful. Because when you wake up, you open your phone, you see either Instagram or TikTok, and you get content that is generated by an AI, now with the human touch, but maybe in the future AI creating its own content. So that's something that I think we have to be very, very careful.
Yeah. Again, from my perspective, I kind of believe that, we adapt, right? And even if you look at ChatGPT, when you started working using ChatGPT, you were so amazed by the text that it can provide, like with all the stuff that it does for you. And then like over time, you can read it. If I get an office email, I can tell which one was done by ChatGPT and which one was done by a human person. So I think, I believe that through the help of the technology that you mentioned, and all that, we will adapt to the challenge of the AI.
And I think it was also a little bit of a hype, as you mentioned. ChatGPT is great, but to get the perfect email out that you don't really recognize that it's an AI, you really need to know how to prompt it correctly. And I got a lot of emails, like ChatGPT generated emails, and it's worse than even
bad English.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, let's stop here. I'd really like to thank you for all the insights that you shared with us. We took a look at AI, we took a look at what it means for us from a work perspective, and even a bit wider. So thanks for that. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, let's be optimistic, and don't forget to learn about the AI, at least the use cases, all the tools. So be on top of the technology, even though if you're not working in the technology, I think it's smart.
It's gonna change your life, right?
It's gonna. No, if you're not using it, it's gonna change your life. I mean, if you want to be like in the middle, if you want to be an average, you have to use it. If you don't use it, you will lose. Or if you don't understand it.
Yeah. With that thought, let's close this. So thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.